Sound resumed.
Oh my god, that was really official and stuff. It went like sound resumed. Thought I'd turn off my TeamSpeak sounds. Anyway, hello everyone! I'm Zott. I'm joined by Ints. I've got FNX somewhere in the background. We've got some vaguely exciting things to talk about, but it's still a whole big bunch of bucket of uncertainty. But it's something. Of course, following the announcement of yesterday at E3 from Tim Willits discussing Quake Champions. I've got a professionally made agenda on Notepad. So I thought, guys, the first thing we should do, right? What do we know? What is Quake Champions, as far as we can tell? Ince, start us off.
It is Quake Champions, and like the title is curious because Tim Willits obviously said like it's gonna have classes, so it's like a new age FPS, but it's still Quake. How hardcore can they make Quake if they're gonna mix it with like new age FPS?
Hey! Don't answer my question with a question. This is unacceptable. We're getting to that. You're ruining my agenda. What do we know?
Ask the question. You said let's go.
No, I said, what do we know? What do we know?
We know a lot of things.
No, we don't know a lot of things.
We don't. Okay. I know a lot of things. You don't know anything.
Okay.
So don't judge both of us.
I'm sorry. But as you said, class-based. We know this. They did say hardcore, didn't they? They said this is going to be competitive, so we presume there's a hardcore.
They didn't say hardcore. They said challenge, rush, and fast.
Oh, okay.
That's how it was described.
These are some good verbs.
And he did say it was a successor to Quake 3, wasn't it? It's an arena-based shooter, at least, so it's not going to have any sort of single player or anything.
Did he say that?
I think he said that.
I like that he said that.
Yeah.
But what else do we know, Chris? Is there anything we haven't touched on yet? I think there's
quite a few things. I mean, yeah, by the sounds of it, it's going to be a PC exclusive, which is great for customizability and
everyone except console players.
Yeah, which I think that's a good thing.
So it's essentially everyone that cares.
That's like a step in the right direction, right from the start.
And
but it's automatically more hardcore.
Yeah, he said it's going to be quite focused on performance, so I guess that's probably why it's PC exclusive. They can really push the performance there.
120 hertz compatible, unlocked frame rates. Not getting any of that scrub shit on your PS4. Okay, so maybe a little bit too far, but you get the picture. Which is good, because all of us people in Quake Live who invested in a 120 hertz monitor are going to want to use it if there's another Quake, particularly.
But I have a 144 hertz monitor. What happens now? What happens to those additional 24 hertz?
You get the frames, but you don't get the hertz.
I don't know if I can live with that.
I think I'll settle with it.
I'm not entirely sure how technical, Willits is. I guess he is pretty technical, but I'm pretty sure you can push it up to 144 hertz. I don't see why not. That's kind of the standard these days, and most games seem to be able to handle that. So I'm pretty sure you'd be able to.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, to be honest, those 24 hertz difference doesn't really matter. But 60 to 120, that's excellent, to be honest.
Yeah.
I find that from just a playability and just the feel of a game, no matter what the game is, I think that's really positive. So to touch a bit more on the class-based system, actually, to be honest, I've got a long-winded tangent that I want to go down, but I don't think I'm ready to do that just yet.
Shouldn't we talk about what we saw in the video? We talked about what Willits said. We should just talk about what we saw in the video. Like, what was it? Like a lot of things. Like, I think it seemed to be like a 2v2 style, which is pretty cool.
We can't draw any conclusions from that video. It's impossible.
We're here.
There's nothing.
Draw conclusions, just to talk about stuff.
Yeah,
like,
but
we saw like Visor seeing through walls, Ranger with like a teleport,
that's a good
Minx
point,
with glowing hair and like time warp.
Yeah. And Scale Bearer, I believe, is the other guy. The sort of weird-looking dude.
Well, then there's an LG, there's rockets, with a big guy with rockets, and there's a lightning gun used by some, like...
Yeah.
Of course they're gonna... You need to have a rocket launcher if it's Quake.
There seemed to be a railgun as well.
So there's guns there that we recognize.
I saw someone, I think it was Minx, using heavy machine gun. I was slightly disappointed.
And then at the end, Visor gauntlets that guy in the stomach, which was pretty cool.
So we got the pummel.
Yeah.
So now I want to say why have they done this? My question is now, why have they provided us this information, and with that information that they've got, they obviously premeditated and planned to make a game like this. Why have they decided to make it like that? Now, let me answer for you. I feel that because a company that they're now in competition with, which they never used to really be in competition with at all, is all of a sudden Blizzard with Overwatch. And I feel that because that's been in the works for such a long time now, they've obviously had a lot of time to look at what they're doing and think, well, if they're intelligent enough, which they obviously are, they can say this is going to be a big title. You don't need to be a genius to realize that Blizzard making any title with a full release is going to get some traction. And I think they've looked at that and realized this is where mainstream is. This is where we can sell copies and maybe build a bigger platform for the game rather than an aging community which is used to all its fantastically elite skills and nuances that are hard for people who are new to the game to really get used to. And we don't know anything beyond what they've told us about the classes, but I feel that's them trying to redefine it and revolutionize Quake the way that we would typically recognize it. And hopefully they're not going to throw away some of the main things that we identify with, which are the guns, the movement, type of arenas that we're in, and things like that. So I feel like they're not trying to fuck us over. They're trying to give us new. They're trying to make it like, if we're going to make a new Quake, it's not going to be bloody Quake Live with updated graphics done, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people want that, sure, but you got to bring in new people as well. And at the moment, I think that sort of Overwatch model seems to be working. We're all playing Overwatch. I'm having a good time with it. So maybe the class thing, I want to try it out, see how it works in a sort of Quake fast arena style environment.
Now, what I want to suggest was the next bit on my agenda, and I honestly I spent about a minute on my agenda. It's a load of crap, but what does this offer? And immediately, what I thought when I heard class base and Quake was I was thinking back to the times when I played CPM pickup, and we played on NTF servers. Now I don't know how many people in chat and how many of you guys who played this, but that was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I played it once actually. If I remember, it had like 3 classes, right?
Maybe 4 actually.
It was like scout, fighter, and the tank.
And they had one more, which was
the one nobody played. Oh yeah, sniper as well.
Yeah.
Like scout was the fastest, like in TF2, and then there was fighter with like the guys would be in mid and in the tank just defending.
Mm-hmm. And they had different jump heights and jump speeds.
Jump speed.
General ground speed
as well. Yeah.
And the weapons they'd had as well.
That was really good fun, actually. I mean, I don't know how many people got a chance to play it, but that was I could see it working in that type of environment or that type of design, because it still had the difficulty of the game. You still had the complicated movement, and it was fun. I guess is really, you don't really need to go much further than that word. But as a case, is there going to be 1v1? We have no idea.
We don't even know like what mode they want to support and if they're even going to support more than one mode. But you did talk about the movement, and I think they confirmed that it's going to have normal Quake movement with strafe jumping and rocket jumping and all the type of movement that make Quake. But in the video, it does show like a 2v2 game pretty much between Minx and Ranger versus.
I think they were honestly, I just think they were showing off graphics and different things. I don't think that's that's not a limitation.
Okay, I do think they were showing off, but imagine if 2v2 is the main mode for that game. I think it would be awesome.
That's interesting. It's definitely original. I
think it would be awesome, actually. 2v2 being the main mode.
When I say original, I mean for a new game,
Yeah, this whole class-based system works really well in a team game. I mean, if you have CTF, if you have TDM, if you have capture the point, payload, whatever it is, this class-based system works pretty well, and people like it. I think the big question people are worried about is when it comes to duel, how is that going to affect duel? Is one character going to be superior to the other? Will you be able to counter it? That's probably why people are freaking out a bit, because Quake Live ultimately its most popular mode, I think, was Duel, the most spectated. They had Duel Masters, etc.
Just the most spectated, not the most
Yeah.
played for sure. But
Yeah, probably not the most played. I think Clan Arena TDM
yeah,
the most played, at least at the moment. But where at least the competitive scene was mostly Duel.
PJ, there's no upcoming matches. We're discussing Quake champions, and then it's uncertain.
But if you-
so
if
this
you-
is just about Quake. If you've got any questions in chat or anything you would like to discuss, let's hold on a little bit so that we can cover our points, and then we'll obviously discuss with yourselves, but happy to discuss some of your questions in chat as well. But I've completely lost my trail of thought as well.
good.
From the
It would
2v2.
work. It could work in Duel as well, in classes, depending on how restricted the classes would be. Because I mean, we think of classes, we think of like completely different things. We think about the health system, the armor system, the items, the starting weapons, and all of that.
abilities,
It
all
could
that.
even not be like that much. It could just be very slight difference between each class, like just a weapon or two, or like slight more damage on one weapon and another. And abilities, like we saw Visor with Wallhack, that could be like ability of one class that they'd start with that weapon and they'd have that ability. Or like the wall hack might not even be an ability, might even be like a power up, like quad damage. That would be cool.
Yeah, that's
Instead of
interesting.
having
That's
like
a good
an
point.
ability.
That is a good point, actually. But then again, I still don't feel we've got enough information to go off. And I have to say, thank you, Kodisha, for subscribing. Honestly, I got a subscriber the other day when I was playing in front of 20 people, and I was like, why are you guys doing it? I'm not even streaming Quake at that point, but I'm appreciating the support, guys. Keep it up. I think that we haven't got enough information to go. This is going to be 2-2. This is going to be CTF. This is going to be Duel. I think they would just. These are just like placeholders essentially, and be like, "This is a game," and like I think little clues about the kind of things that the classes are going to have. I was slightly disconcerted by the teleport thing that one of the characters had.
I mean,
The
it is what
glowing
it is.
orb?
It's a teaser, right? They're not going to give too much away at this point, but at least on the bright side, it is a new Quake, and it looks like they are going to be putting some time and focus into it. So I'm happy with that. And I was pretty impressed with the ID Tech 6 engine. I think it ran pretty smoothly and looked really nice. And I just hope they give us the same amount of customizability that they did with the Quake 3 engine. Which is really nice.
I think it's going to be so different to Quake Live, and just in the way the whole thing is set up. Quake Live hasn't really, I mean, obviously, bless Sync Error, etc. But I think that, and Sponge, of course, but they were there for maintenance, essentially. They weren't there to make things crazy new. And actually, the stuff they did get done is quite impressive, considering they don't have like a massive office full of many, many people that are able to provide us update after update. They didn't have investment. They didn't have anything. They were literally bare bones, and they're doing what they can. This is a game that's going to have AAA team behind it that is going to be creating what I'm hoping is like spectator features and competitive features and lots of all that infrastructure that you need in a competitive title. So from that side, I think it's really positive, and I don't think we should be expecting like the Quake Live menu when we load into the game and be like, oh Jesus Christ, I've got to find the servers somehow. There's no matchmaking shit. There's things like I think we can kind of assume that matchmaking and things like that's going to be there.
Needs a little bit of a reboot, sort of to bring it into the year 2016. So they'll definitely add modding and matchmaking and all of that stuff. My concern was more with will you be able to mod the game? Will you be able to have the same amount of access to the console and sort of CVARs and customizability?
Yeah, that's true. I'm not,
especially for guys with maybe lower end PCs, whatever the case might be.
I think at this point though we're going to expect people to have better PCs than ones that just run Quake Live. Like you shouldn't be able to run Quake Champions on your work laptop,
I can run Quake Live in my phone.
Exactly. Like, although phones are pretty much more powerful than work laptops now, anyway. But still, I want to run through now. There's two questions. The second one will be obvious after I ask the first one.
Wait up! Before changing the subject, they're gonna be working with another company, right? It's Saber Interactive.
Saber Interactive, yeah.
They've made like 3 Halo titles, and
were they
what do you think
behind
of
the Doom multiplayer? Is it the same guys? Okay,
no.
because
And they have worked in
I was a
like
bit disappointed.
they have one game they made all themselves. It's Time Shift, but they have been a part in 3 different Halo titles. And I mean, coming from a Quake point of view, we don't really like Halo at all. So I don't know how to think of this.
Although Halo is still an
Are
extremely
you gonna
important
say
game.
anything good about
I don't
Halo?
like Halo either, but it's still a very important game in gaming. You know, it's still something
Is
that's
it?
yeah, it is. It's something that's
Why?
created a benchmark. You know, it's set a precedent in at least console gaming.
Wow.
And I think that it's a very extremely strong franchise. But I hope that they're able to transfer these ideas to PC. And obviously, you know, my main concern is strafing and the movement. The first thing I do in any game now, instinctively, is experiment with movement. Before I look at guns, before I even look at the map, it's how does this thing bloody move? Now, this is where I want to ask 2 questions I said earlier. Second will be obviously after I asked the first, is what reasons do we have to be skeptical at the moment? What reasons? What looks negative? Let's push the negativity out the way and discuss
Classes,
what we think. Oh my god, this was going to be horrific.
classes, abilities.
Yeah, the
That's
class
it.
and abilities. Also, the fact that Doom multiplayer wasn't all that impressive. And
But
it is
the
same
focus with
engine
Doom
stuff.
was single player. The focus
That's
with
true,
Quake
that's
is
true, yeah.
multiplayer. There's no single
Yeah.
player. They don't need to worry about that. They can put all the awesomeness in the multiplayer.
That's fair enough. And I certainly hope they do give it a really big focus on what a multiplayer game should be.
Oh god, D-Sharp, if they make ultimates.
Oh god, yeah.
That's where it can really like escalate
Yeah.
badly.
That's
you
where you
know?
gotta be
'Cause
careful.
we already know it's gonna have classes and abilities. If it gets to like just let go of the ultimates and just leave the power-ups as items.
Need more ground items, I think. You know, that's the thing. That's where I think Overwatch is going wrong personally. But I want to also say that someone mentioned in chat earlier about the Doom thing, which is fine in Doom, but where you have the animation when you're doing a melee attack on someone,
Oh god,
which
yeah. I hope
really
they get rid of that.
clunkifies. That's not a word, but whatever. The whole like smoothness and swiftness of the action. I'm trying to think of other things that could be annoying. Hoping my general skepticism is that hoping that they incorporate all the ideas that we see from all these modern competitive games, and
And not just that.
you know,
And
implementing even half of them.
yeah, in all the amazing suggestions, like we all know Quake Life should have had, like even basic things like the matchmaking and all that stuff. We hope they make it right this time, because if they have even another company helping them with the game, they'll assumedly have enough staff to do these things. Because that was a problem in Quake Live. They didn't have enough staff to do that. They didn't have enough money or enough staff. And another thing that I thought about just now, because when did they put Quake Live Steam only? That was like
last year.
October last year or something.
Yeah, sometime late last year. Yeah.
I guess that's when they started working on this new game, because at that point they didn't spend any more resources on Quake Live. They didn't spend any more money because Steam spends all the money now. They only get profit from that. So I like that they're not wasting any money with Quake Live. They're hopefully redirecting everything for Quake
The
Champions.
money they're making with Quake Live is I could probably fit
nothing.
it in my shoe.
I
The
know,
money
but
they're
I
going to be
mean,
spending
they're
on
not-
Quake
they're not-
Champions won't fit in my flat. So
I know, but the money they're not spending on Quake Live, that's what I mean.
yeah, fair. No matchmaking, no glory is what I'm reading at the moment. Having private matchmaking or private servers. I think these are things that we come to expect as
Yeah, you know, I
what
hope
should
they've
be
taken
standard.
a look at the big sort of big FPS games out there, Overwatch, Counter Strike, you know, the really big titles, and taken a few pointers
Exactly.
from
Work
that in
at-
terms of matchmaking.
Also,
When making
sorry to
a new
interrupt.
Quake, work at both of those and make something completely different. Because I'm tired of those, please.
Yeah, just take the best points from those and just kind of make it really awesome. If they can do that, they got themselves a winner. They've already got the name Quake behind them. I mean, that's already going to attract a whole bunch of people. If they do the whole sort of meta of the game really well, then it's just you know, up to the gameplay.
Right, let me follow up. So I have to pose a question first, but first I want to say thank you, Hi Summer, for also subscribing. Really appreciate that. Still, that's really unexpected subscribers over here, but thank you. So that you're going on to what I was wanted to talk about next, is what there's there to be excited about, and that is kind of it. You know, we're getting something new. This isn't a recycled idea that we're so used to, but we love. We don't. People hate change naturally, but this is something I could latch onto if it's just got those fundamentals and then all the modern bells and whistles attached.
I think Bethesda wanna send that message across as well. Just the fact that they didn't name it Quake 5, for example, is a good indication of that. They wanted something clean like they did with Doom. We're going right back to sort of what Quake should be about. I'm hoping that's the direction they go with this Quake Champions.
Like it's called Quake Champions. Why are they gonna base what do they base the name Champions on? Because I was thinking like maybe the classes would be like the players. But then I thought, it wouldn't have all the players because those would be like more like Quake Legends. Because if they put like champions, what champions would they pick? Would they pick like the QuakeCon champions? Because that wouldn't be fair. Because they would then leave like people like Evil, Cooler, Avek out. But that would be cool, having a game like Quake Legends with classes based on those champions. You'd have like a class with Cooler, which would be like gets the item radius like times 10, times 5, and then. I don't know, strengths, aimbot times 10 or something. And fatality, get first frag in 4 feet.
With extra game food.
Please don't stop to sign
up. The game.
The agent button.
Yeah.
It just says like random swear word, family insult, and they're done. I'm trying to read a little bit of chat at the moment to see what thoughts are. Before 40-second respawn time. 5v5 team game with shared XP pool and towers. Now that's the thing. If they start taking too much influence from games like Overwatch, then they're at the risk of making it a little bit too newbie friendly. But what they said in the video and in Tim Willett's speech is that they're trying to make this a game that is incredible for the highest level of players and the champions that we're familiar with in the tournaments that are still played in Quake today, but also something that even the scrubbiest of new person to PC or gaming in general is able to get in and indulge and enjoy. So whatever we're getting, we're seeing a game that's definitely going to be very playable and attractive to newer players, unless they get that wrong. I think it's easier to get that right.
Matchmaking and all of that stuff is really important. So I hope they get that right.
Boov, what do I think classes mean? Characters with ability? Well, I'm hoping that it's to do with... I hope the movement isn't too different throughout classes. I hope maybe speeds and things like that change with people with different weapons. Maybe at some point they'll get the heavy machine gun out for someone. Sorry, that's probably the most uninfluential gun in Quake at the moment.
This classes thing might end up like one of the biggest discussions we've had on Quake. Like air control versus no air control. You could just have one class with air control and another class without air control.
Yeah.
Like one class being faster, but with like only shotgun and LG, and another class not having air control, but having like a rocket launcher and LG or something.
Yeah, or you could get one guy that can, maybe double jump to get an item, whereas another guy has to take the long way around, but he's got, better weapons or something. I don't know.
I want to be I want to have like a class like Scout, which is just really fast, has air control, and has insta weapon switch.
Those are agile characters.
Yeah. And then just medium, like the normal. No, that's the way I'm thinking of. Like a fighter class, like in NPS, like slightly slower without air control, more other weapons, slightly more damage.
I don't think they're going to use the whole arsenal of Quake characters that we've seen, although I wouldn't mind seeing an orb. I don't know what the hell orb would do, but try to incorporate like these classes. There's lots of very interesting, like
the observer.
Slash would be cool. Zero, I don't know. This is basically coming down to how many Quake characters can you name. But there's lots of interesting characters that could have their own personal story, and the thing is, having some lore to it, some actual background story might just provide a bit of extra substance to the game that makes it that much more interesting for people who are just generally interested and more engaged with a game that has that.
Even without single player, they could have like that story in the lore, like just like Overwatch has. Overwatch
exactly.
Single player, but they have it.
For the people that are into that, that's great. They can do that. They can follow that stuff if you want. For a lot of people don't really care about that. They just want to jump straight into the game, which is fine as well. I think I think they did that even with the Doom single player. If you want to sort of read about the history and explore and stuff, you can. If you just want to blow things apart, then you can. So
I'm
I'm
sure they
pretty
could
sure
make
they'll be quite flexible.
they'll make loads. I'm sure they can think of loads of great history to give to the
Yeah,
game and things to
absolutely.
read about in it. User 86751 saying, I think Quake 3 Live is a pretty good game. It's a few flaws but could be improved, but I don't see the need for a new game. Now, the need for a new game is to have millions of people playing it rather than hundreds or thousands that we currently have. Thousands is like a difficult word to even use among the Quake community as it stands.
There's obviously the need
Its
for a new game in
scale
Quake.
was increasing the amount of people getting more money, getting more people competing, getting more everything. So yeah, it's just taking it to the next a game that's 16. We're essentially playing a game that's 17 years old.
How can you not see like the need of a new game in Arena FPS? There is not a single hardcore Arena FPS right now.
Yeah, there's a big gap in the market right now, and a lot of
With
people
anything,
have been
any
crying for a
substantial
long time.
plays. Yeah,
Like
that-
I could talk about Overwatch, but I said hardcore Arena FPS.
that's not arena
Overwatch
FPS.
is the most casual Arena FPS.
I
ever.
wouldn't call it an
It's
arena
not even
FPS.
an arena. Yeah, it's not even an arena.
It's an FPS. It's an so a
It's a
MOBA
MOBA
FPS. I don't know
It's
what
a
you call
MOBA
it.
FPS, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And it's just missing like the casual creeps that run around like in Dota or something like that.
I like that the trailer really looked like those Arena series. It looked really cool like that. I hope the guy that's making the Arena starts making more. I miss those.
Ron Rose, Jahar's wife laughing aloud. This team saying they've supported Quake competitions. Well, they support QuakeCon, but that's not really enough to keep a community engaged.
Yeah, what do they mean when they
Yeah.
say they're gonna support Quake competitions? Because I don't think they're gonna throw money at other competitions still. I think what they mean they're gonna support other competitions is just they're gonna offer land support for other competitions. Which I mean for me it would be completely fine.
Honestly, I think that's good, but I think that's one thing I'd be skeptical about. It's one thing saying yes, you're allowed to play our games at your competitions, to actually providing some consultative service and even I don't know, providing funds or any additional support like that goes above and beyond what
If
is
they offer
expected.
land support for every tournament, I'm already
Infrastructure, some like.
Willits did mention competitive leagues. He specifically said the word leagues. So, maybe there is some sort of something
I'm
that
sure,
they'll support.
I'm
instead of-
sure they'd re-establish ties with ESL and DreamHack
Yeah, that
and
kind of thing.
Big
even
sort of
continue ties with
esports
Faceit.
organizations, yeah.
I Faceit will jump on it like
Face
tramp
it
on
definitely
chips.
will. I know DDK and those guys are big Quake fans, so yeah.
The whole all of Faceit is made off Quake. People who are obsessed by Quake.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason it really exists, is because they started at that and they branched forward into other games because it's a business and you've got to make success of a business, and commercially Quake Live's not going to give you success. So there's no doubt that there's the necessary stakeholders or I don't know, third parties that will help boost the scene. As soon as Overwatch comes on, it's a competition of who's going to be the best casual streamer, who's going to be the best caster in the $100 tournaments and things like that. Already there's a huge race to get to the little money pot of glory, which takes you to LAN finals and casting in front of tens or hundreds of thousands of people. It's it's just restarting the life cycle of an esports game, and that's what's exciting about it.
And just like it says in the channel description, Quake does have a pretty epic legacy. I mean, right down from the very beginning, it's been one of the biggest esports FPS titles, at least.
We made
in
the
world.
first professional gamer, Thresh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
And
Definitely
even
of
guys
famous
who got
ones.
like super famous as professional game, like Fatality, and all those guys started.
If you
in
see
Quake.
any like big, I'm not even talking about any big games, but any big leagues, like all the big casters, they all have Quake roots.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
everywhere.
them. Not so much anymore, I'd say, but definitely a lot of the really famous ones. Yeah, I'd say the guys that have been, like the Red Eyes, like the Tosspots, and anyone who's been around longer than 5 years, basically.
Too good.
yeah. I mean, there's too many of them.
Yeah.
But now there's like a new generation of Quakers. So what you're going to get when a new Quake comes out is you're going to get a load of people coming from StarCraft, from League of Legends, from Dota, from Overwatch, from Shootmania, from whatever, and they're going to be coming over and they're going to try and get on this bandwagon, and it's going to perpetuate
great.
itself so that
That's
all
great.
of this attention comes to Quake. As soon
Yeah.
as there's money involved in something and a big new game with esports support is going to get that, then it's not just id Software, ZeniMax, whatever, creating that infrastructure. That's where the community just exponentially grows for a period of time, depending on how much actual traction it takes. But yeah, there's gonna be a whole bunch of things that would happen. It at this point, you basically let your imagination go to what town on this, because all kinds of things could happen. But these are like best case scenario things,
Yeah. I know, Lars thought we have no idea of release dates.
No, we don't know.
Probably at
Yeah.
QuakeCon we will find out something more.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there's going to be some sort of gameplay demo or maybe even a playable beta or something at QuakeCon. That'll be awesome.
I'm thinking. I don't think, because it's been so recently so recent that Doom was released. I'd be very surprised if we get it released next year. I'd imagine 2018. It seems
That's
like
fine.
I think that's, and I'm okay with that as well.
I'd rather they take more time and do it properly, implement all these great things that we've
Yeah.
spoken about, than
And like
just kind of
Overwatch.
rush it in order to make money because
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Doom or Overwatch are doing really well. I'd rather they just take the time, do it well, instead of just hopping on this current bandwagon that's popular at the moment.
do
I
you know what?
completely agree.
Do you know what it's
You
done
see
though?
Overwatch, for example. Overwatch, they didn't even finish the game and they released it. I'd rather have Overwatch like 6 more months in beta, because Overwatch is like, it's released and it doesn't even have a spectator feature. It's not great to spectate. I mean, it's really fun to play, but it's
Yeah.
terrible to spectate.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
I'd rather have them just 6 more months finishing the game and then releasing it. But it's Blizzard, they just release everything prematurely.
But servers worked on release. Like from some technical perspective, it was still been very successful, I'd say. But yeah, there's definitely things that it doesn't take long for particularly hardcore gamers to start needing those updated features quickly. But what I wanted to say is that one thing that it has done that's very important is it's satiated our minds in terms of the curiosity of what happens next for Quake. We were all thinking Quake Live. I mean, the support's going. We know that we're not going to get any more updates in Quake Live. We keep losing these lands, and we've been dropped down to only having QuakeCon. Now we have no idea what to expect at each QuakeCon. We've got these online cups that are supported by some deity in Russia somewhere who's, I don't know, laundering money or something. I've got no idea what he's doing. And there's bits of the community that are chipping in, and we feel like every few weeks we feel like we're losing that little sort of crumb of hope almost, and that
Overwatch
drive.
now has taken again a huge chunk of the Quake player base. Whatever was left, it's pretty much Agent and Evil left now.
And the
They're
last
playing
week we've been
Overwatch,
discussing
by
that.
the way.
Yeah.
They're
Are they?
They're really bad.
But that's what I think I was discussing with Ince. I think Lincoln was talking about it with us when I was playing some Overwatch. Like, so many of all the Quake pros have gone to Overwatch. Everyone
Yeah,
is playing that now. And we feel like that's almost like the last nugget that we can accept before. You know what? It came to me in the last week or two. I was thinking I can't do Quake anymore. I know I haven't done it for about 10 months, but I'm just taking a break. But now I'm looking at Quake, and I was looking at Quake, and I was thinking I can't be a part of this anymore. I feel like the chapter in my life has ended, and the era is over.
Like, the problem is that
GG
there's nothing to be
was
part
written
of.
on it.
There's nothing to be a part of in Quake right now. That's it.
And now, honestly, my feelings over the last week have been going up and down. Well, mostly just down and then right back up again. Now this new Quake's been released, I was like, Jesus Christ, that end game, that goal that I've been looking for of, however many years of casting and all the people I've been speaking to and all the things I've been learning and these experiences that I've had, I feel like there's now a different peak that that everyone can aspire to.
Yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel for Quake, for Arena FPS, really.
So I personally, obviously, I think probably can speak on behalf of all three of us. I think we all have a big reason to want to stay with Quake now. We feel that there's longevity to it. A lot of people do it for, the heart and the passion for the game, but passion only goes so far without these, without some response.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that if it is a 2018 release, I'm hoping that some of the big names from Quake will come back and be as passionate about it as they are for Overwatch right now.
I assure you that if Quake gets released in 2018 with all the things they were mentioning about like its support for like leagues and stuff, I will assure you every single Quake player that ever played Quake, every single legend that ever played Quake will come back and play every single thing.
Yeah, and that's probably what's going to make it great. I mean, you've got these big names coming. I'm hoping
From
you're
all
going to get
Quakes,
new
not
names.
just
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Oh my,
exactly.
I just thought of something else. Like, imagine if the classes are Quake based, like a class with sort of Quake world movement, and then a class with crouch sliding from Quake 4.
Yeah,
That's
and a
true,
guy
that
that can
could be
shoot
interesting.
teleporters.
That could be awesome.
That could be pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Oh, you're just chasing a guy and he disappears under a little slide area that you just can't duck underneath. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, one guy can shoot through teleporters.
Unless you are the class
True.
ins, which can slide under anything.
Scrubber says, so this stream is about us dropping Quake and getting excited about eating shit. No, the thing is, now when we're playing Quake, and I can start playing Quake again, we have something to be excited about every time we're playing the game. Because there's going to be a rejuvenation, and whoever's playing Quake now and continues to play Quake, and looking at people like Evil, probably going to be destroying Quake champions when that comes out.
Really? Or because, like, if what I said was right, like with different movement and stuff, you don't even know what Quake you should be practicing.
They said it had strafe. They said there's strafing going to be involved,
Yeah, well, that's in all the Quakes.
Yeah, so people who are most used to that, most habituated to these kind of movements, Quake, I don't think we're going to see Team Fortress 2 players coming in and destroying this. I don't think we're going to see a Overwatch Pro coming into Quake Champions and being a king. We're certainly not going to have a CS. Probably will be some of the best because their aim will be good.
But maybe this whole class system will allow for people to come in and kind of focus on just one particular aspect of the game. I mean, even if someone like Evil comes into the new Quake, he can't be all the characters all the time. Maybe he'd also just kind of focus on one or two characters. Someone else might focus on one or two characters and actually get pretty good at them. Just like with Overwatch, you get guys that have only played one character for 50 hours now, and they're really good with that character, but suck with everything else.
I think that's where you get a sense of purpose, though, in terms of what part of a team you play. And that's a good thing with CS, is when you're advertising for teams, you're not looking for a third player or fourth player or fifth player. You're looking for someone to be a certain role within the team. And I think that helps make it attractive for people to... It allows you to define yourself within the game a little bit, which sounds cheesy, but in a sense it's true, because you play the style that you're most comfortable with, and
but that also happens in Quake. I mean, not in TDM as much, even though in TDM there are roles and positions that people make, and even though at lower level people don't really think about it at all. But in CTF you have the positions, you have the roles. But with classes it would be even easier to see those roles, and people it would be easier to practice and all that stuff.
No, completely. It's hard to get him. Does bring us back down to earth for a second. We had a 2 minutes presentation. It's hard to speculate. It definitely is. We're going off. We're literally breaking down every sentence and word that was used by Tim Willits.
We're just speculating a lot. And none of this will be true.
That's true as well. Yeah.
The thing that we know 100%, which we've never been able to say, even with Syncera trolling our channel from time to time, is that there's going to be another Quake. And that's something I've been looking forward to saying for such a long time. It's not, Quake
at
Live.
At least it's official
was...
now. From the horse's mouth, we can actually say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty fond of Tim Willits. I think I've met him once or twice. I wouldn't say on a personal level, but I'm fond of him on the fact that he fights for the esports in Quake, and it's from a difficult corner. He's got to go up against like boardroom of very angry people who are looking at I don't know, currency signs and money, which has got lots and lots of zeros on the end, which is something that Quake Live has never been able to provide.
That's true. Ultimately this is a business for them, and they want what attracts the most players, and I think hence the reason for some of these decisions. And it's a difficult decision for any big company like this. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place between the sort of hardcore Quakers that have been there for 20 years and want the game to be a certain way, and then also, there's maybe 1,000, 2,000 of those guys, and then maybe bringing new players in and making money off the game and making it sustainable, sort of like League of Legends or these big games at the moment that are actually just sustainable and kind of fan themselves. So yeah, it's a difficult decision business wise. I'm glad we're not in those kinds of positions. We're just sitting here speculating about what a game should be, in an ideal world, but it's not always going to be like that. We have to remember. But hopefully they can take some good things on board and make a fairly well-rounded game, which is what I'm hoping for.
I just want to know, like, really soon, what game mode are they going to be focusing the competitive efforts on?
I got a feeling we won't find out for a
hope
while.
It's 2v2. I really hope it's 2v2. I think 2v2 is the best mode in Quake.
I'd love CTF. I'd love a bunch of things, but what I think they've got to make a decision on what the focus is going to be on, because I don't think unless the community's fucking enormous, which there's going to obviously be a lot of people that will start playing, but you can't start dividing into the 1v1 community and the 2v2 and the TD and the CTF.
And then
you have to have a main competitive mode. Unless they could be the first game to do that properly. StarCraft 2 only had 1v1, even though they had 3v3s and free-for-alls available in their game. None of that became competitive.
Yeah.
CS,
Quake,
you can
do... Quake kind of was competitive because we had Quake on 1v1 and 4v4 and 1v1 and CTF and everything. So it could happen, but we need a really, as you said, enormous community. But we should just focus. I think like the bridge between all modes would be like TDM, 2v2. It's the most awesome one.
I kind of like some kind of objective as well, but it depends how the game flows.
Screw CTF.
I know you're biased.
TDM is RZ and 2v2v2.
Okay, this is definitely not turning into a stream that just fights between CTF and TDM and Duel and whatever. So I'll end that before you continue to start it. What was I? Someone said something in chat that sparked a thought, and you've destroyed all of it for me now. Remind me, guys. God damn it. 1v1. Oh yeah, I wanted to say Cypher made a tweet that was looking. His concern is he wants 1v1.
Of course,
there's such a legacy in Quake of having Duel, and obviously he's going to be fighting that corner. I'm sure a lot of other pros will. But I
actually want TDM 2v2 even more, because imagine a team with Cypher and Avic.
Wow, that'd be crazy. Yeah.
Who the fuck would go up against that?
Yeah.
Or like even Evil and Agent or something, if they would ever team up. Doubt that, but it would be crazy, and a lot of pros would make good combinations.
Noctis and Z would come back. Fox and Tox. Me and someone else.
You know what? That's also going to be. There's going to be a lot of younger people. There's going to be a lot of 14, 16-year-olds coming in, and there are going to be new people that will turn professional. I think it'll take like some time for them to get better than. If there really is such a similarity between Quake Champions and Quake Live, for example, it will take a while for the people who haven't had all those years' experience. But that's gonna happen. Or there's gonna be all the people that were getting really good, like the Backsteins, like the Bases, like the Neutrinos. I don't know how the others. So,
Claws,
yeah.
So, now and he's dominating. Yeah.
So exactly, they'll be getting good because. While the old pros have been leaving, these other guys have been working quite hard, and this is going to give them a great advantage moving forward. So, yeah, that's
Wolf and Drake.
Cool. Yeah.
Char and Zott, don't think that. Maybe we'll be the most mediocre 2v2 partner ever. I could only dream.
What else can we talk about? We've talked 45 minutes about a 2-minute video.
Do you think
we've done pretty well? I think.
Do you guys think that they're gonna allow modding for this game? Because one of the things that made Quake 3.
I hope not.
But if you look at Quake 3, I mean, one of the things that really made it great was the fact that they brought around OSP and CPMA and
all but don't forget, that's also the things that divide the community. And if we're already looking at them to support one of the game modes, not to divide the community too much, if they get mods, that will divide the community.
But surely you'd want like a competitive mode, like the mode that is played in a highly competitive setting, and you want it to be as polished as possible.
That's the good thing about Quake so far. That's the perfect thing about Quake so far. You get on Quake, it doesn't matter if you played for 1 or 10 years, you'll be playing the same settings as Cypher.
Yeah, that's true.
If a game is good enough, it doesn't need to have a competitive mode.
Well, I don't know. I hope it has I hope it has like CS. I hope it has like the Overwatch and competitive mode coming. I hope it has like a I hope it has rankings and stuff like that. So obviously the game should flourish without it, but I think to take it to the next level. Now this is actually some really interesting discussions being brought up in chat, which we haven't covered at all. So maybe we can go on for another 45 minutes. So Booth to the Max said, how much will the game cost? Which brings us into the whole sort of business model perspective. We can discuss free to play, is pay to play, pay to win, is it just one-time transaction? Are there going to be expansions or DLC that's coming out? That's interesting, because that actually really determines what the initial figure might be like. And I think id and ZeniMax Bethesda are a company that can get away with putting like a big sort of 40 or 50 euro stamp on it and getting a big community.
It's going to be a AAA title.
What's the biggest that a Quake ever costed? I have no idea how much Quake ever costed.
30 quid maybe? I think I might have...
Yeah, around £30. Well, maybe like €50 max. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I think...
I mean, you got to keep in mind that it is multiplayer only, and... I don't know what that means exactly, but yeah.
You're going somewhere with that.
You almost had something better.
But so Overwatch just went out and it costs, I think, £40, so maybe €50.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've gotten a huge community response from it, and loads of people have bought it, and it's great.
Yeah.
But then you've got Valve that's got CS:GO, and you've got what's that?
And Overwatch
€15?
doing a really good job with the whole loot boxes and skins and all that crazy stuff.
I don't know if they are doing a good job with it.
I think it's actually a terrible job. CS does it much better.
Yeah, CS does do it better. That's true.
Overwatch just put something in it, which is like another bit that makes money, but it doesn't.
I want skins in Quake. I want to play with a pink LG.
Yeah, I think skins in Quake, because what's obviously Valve have done very well is they've created this additional platform where people care less about the game than they do about trading.
Yeah.
And they do about betting and things like that. And as much, I really don't like all this betting stuff that I'm seeing on CS tournaments where you see all these 14 and 15-year-olds using their parents' credit card. And I think it should be done more responsibly. And I think there should be more regulations attached to it. But that's also the kind of thing that boosts the community and brings more viewership and more interest to titles and more emotional attachment to the games that are being played on a stream.
Yeah, bookmakers are actually starting to take bets now on League of Legends, CS:GO, Dota.
It's exactly. It's definitely become a part of esports now, and it's been getting on TV on ESPN.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of very positive things, but to allow your game to get to that level, you need to have a business model that is open enough to incorporate that contribution from the community.
Yeah, I'm actually anxious about that part, like their business model and their marketing plans.
Yeah, Bethesda's marketing hasn't always been as maybe aggressive as
if it's like Doom. Now I've seen Doom adverts in the bloody
Doom
stop down the road in a tiny village. What the hell?
But it's not gonna be like
It might be.
It's literally on buses here in London. Like every second bus is a big Doom guy on it.
Really?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. If Bethesda's going at it like they go with any other game, there's going to be a big fuck off marketing plan and budget.
I hope so.
That's really good.
So
speaking of that, I was looking at the TV right now on the Belgium game, and Overwatch just came on TV there. It's like to buy Overwatch on 3 different platforms.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Nice timing.
Obviously, though, the thing that maybe limits the marketing is the fact that if they are indeed doing it PC only, then maybe they will restrict where they put it. They might just do a huge digital campaign instead. And that's still possible to offer a huge effect, But it might mean they reduce like the, I don't know, banners by your subway or something like that.
Which is good.
Though I don't know, I think they're just going to invest a lot of money. They don't do things in small sizes, They're after the hundreds of millions. They're not after the small thousands of dollars worth of profit, And you get all those hundreds of millions by investing tens of millions or low hundreds of millions, or even more, depending on what you want your return in.
Yeah.
So, I think what we can take, like, let's get to the sort of concluding area. We can't really conclude anything on the business model. We can only state our hopes and the sort of things that could happen with certain business models. Obviously, it's way too soon to even speculate on that, let alone all the stuff we speculated on already. But FNX, have you got any sort of like conclusion or any? What are your closing thoughts on that topic? On this topic?
On the business model?
No, on Quake Champions. Sorry, on something.
In general, yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, we can't really say too much at the moment because no one really knows much, right? So, yeah, I'm excited they've announced a new Quake. It looks like Bethesda are serious in terms of development. They're going to put a lot of focus into the performance of it, marketing, all those great things. So I'm really excited to see what they bring out at QuakeCon. Can't wait for that. Just another reason why I'm going to be super excited for QuakeCon, actually.
Ents?
I'm not sure. I really want to see it being successful. I want to see everyone that ever won a Quake tournament play this game, and I want to basically have a 10-year-old like happy attack, like a nostalgia attack, as soon as I open the game.
I feel you.
And I hope it's gonna be that way.
Grabs the Mega brings up something interesting. Quake Champions doesn't try to compete with Overwatch. That's a lost battle. Now, the thing that id, Cinemax, and Bethesda have is they have a franchise that dates back 20 years. This is extremely important when bringing out new titles, because not only do you have new people who don't know the product to attract, you've got a huge amount of history and past and like thumbs up stamps from people saying, yes, this is a bloody good game, that just helps build a momentum. Now, if Overwatch, built by Blizzard, which is also a huge player in the market, can attract 10 million people in the free beta weekend on a title that has no history, then I think that only is the sign of the times in terms of the size of the market in PC gaming and gaming in general. So I don't think we should count it as a battle now. I think there's time for Overwatch to build and die in the time there is for us to wait for Quake Champions.
Speaking of battles, didn't Too Good say you wanted to make Reborn before a new Quake was even announced?
How long has Reborn been in the works?
I don't even know.
Excuse me, guys. It's Diabotical, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you might be right there.
What?
Diabotical.
Isn't that what he called it? That's the name of Reborn.
It's the new name. Okay.
Yeah.
I still call it Reborn though. I refuse to stoop to the diabotical level, and I
Diabetical.
My conclusion is that let's not people. I've seen a bit of hate already. Obviously, there's a lot of people excited. There's a lot of people, oh my god, class-based system and things like that. From my NTF example, I don't think we can knock it till we know more.
I'm actually interested in knowing Too Good's thoughts on Quake, because he wanted to make his own game, but now he sees new Quake being released. What's he gonna do?
A lot of his ideas were kind of this, to be honest. He was also, throwing around the ideas of class-based systems, got people with different abilities, that sort of thing.
That's true. I think, honestly, I've heard before that if there would be another Quake, he would stop his development, and because it's just too much competition to handle from a small studio. And I think the same with the guys doing Reflex, the guys doing Warsaw, any mod maker. They just look at Bethesda and go, well, we're fucked. we can't establish a player base if you've got all the cards.
It's a AAA development studio with quite a big budget behind them.
That's a competition killer right there. But not necessarily for the worse if what you want is a thriving, competitive community. So I mean, my conclusion is let's await more information, but let's not be too disheartened by what we've seen in 2 minutes, and instead be ready to embrace a new era that could at least we stop having to look at bloody Sunday Cups where Evil wins and Agent narrowly wins but Rage quits before he can try to win. I'm tired of seeing those tournaments where I've got to sit on a server waiting for a player to finish their cigarette and then, oh god, their game won't start and things like that. And I'd just like something refreshing to look at. Not saying that'll never happen again.
Let's go back to 2012 when Cooler and when Strengths and Pavel and Strengths and Evil would take 2 hours to get on a server just for strengths to win
Oh
30
god,
to 0.
yeah.
Like that's yeah. I'm over and I'm done with that. Let's have something new. We've grown of age, all of us, and we can of age. We've grown in age. We can at least we can try and be excited about something, even if we are, if the old Quake blood goes through our veins still. If anyone
There
like
is no release date.
yeah, no release date, no prices, no only firm things we got is 120 hertz. I haven't written done. Unlocked frame rate, designed for competitive play, class-based system for PC esports in mind. That is the details in a nutshell. Maybe a couple of other words that we can take out, like the word league was thrown around, stuff like that. There's a lot of things happening in chat. It's awesome that we've got a couple of hundred people in to tune into a high production chat show. If there's anything else being discussed, then I'm happy to talk about it. Why not 165 hertz or 200? Why not 1,000? Why don't they stop there? They go to 10,000.
Uncapped hertz,
120 hertz is fine, considering the human eye can't see past 28 FPS. We'll be okay. Joking before anyone gets triggered, by the way. If anyone gets triggered, settle down. I'm only kidding. Yeah.
I just hope they make some more announcements soon, and I hope it's like the focus of the game, what even the game was. That's what I'm really interested in. So I know what I have to practice.
Yeah, I don't know what to.
I think they're going to keep their cards close at least until QuakeCon.
Yeah, I even think at QuakeCon they're only going to release a few more nuggets.
It's probably going to be. I mean, if they're going to release anything more at QuakeCon, it will be like a premiere, like they did on Doom 2 years ago.
That's exactly what I wanted to compare actually. And that was hardly any information that they left there, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
So we basically knew that there was going to be a Doom before QuakeCon 2000. It was QuakeCon 2014, wasn't it?
Yep.
So we knew there was going to be that, but we knew hardly anyone was going to see anything about it. But all the people who went to QuakeCon saw something, and when I saw it, it wasn't much still.
Not all the people.
Well, okay, a bunch of us saw it, something, but it was still very limited amount of information. So I won't be surprised if QuakeCon only explains another 5% of the story.
But that's enough for us to go on about it for 3 months.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Exactly. And then next time QuakeCon comes around, we'll probably have a playable demo. Things like that. I don't know the bloody time frame of their project, but I feel like this going to go something like this. I don't know. Just out of general naive expectation. I have nothing else to base it off. I'm trying to catch up again. Only the weapons that allow you to... Oh yeah, that's a good point. Will there be zoom only weapons, or will you be able to FOV zoom? I think we're gone past the date of FOV zooming now, but maybe.
I don't think they're gonna allow for like a lot of customization.
Yeah.
At least not like in Quake 3 and Quake Live and all that stuff. Since I guess there's stuff that you want to keep class-based, and if you have if you can tweak zoom, you can probably tweak a bunch of other things as well. And there's gonna be still a lot of customization, still probably much more compared to CS:GO and Overwatch and that stuff, but definitely not even half as much as the other Quake titles. I think is a good thing, really.
Yeah.
So what I would like to say now is moving away from the Quake Champions discussion and moving into Z Live future until Quake Champions. Is that... Well, as I said last week, I've been having this roller coaster ride where I'm like, well, fuck Quake now. I feel like there's nothing more. There's nothing more that is going to be offered. I feel like it can only go downhill from here. And to be fair, it's been going downhill for some time, even though the player base is at about 1,000 roughly concurrently. But I will continue to do Quake, and I've not wanted to do Quake the last week, and now I do. So I will step in more so than I definitely have over the last 10 months.
Does this mean you're gonna cast the next Sunday Cup?
I don't, potentially. But there's going to be Overwatch stuff as well. And the reason you should be interested in that is because there will be names that you're familiar with. There's plenty of Quake names, things that you're going to recognize, and stories that you can see develop. So...
Actually, how hard do you think it is for us to catch the Gossip Gamers Weekly Club?
I don't think it'll be too difficult. I've basically
we-
found a
we
way
should-
into it. All I need to do is sort out my stream settings for Overwatch.
I'll stream Quake with you again if we get to stream the Gazoo Gamers Cups on Overwatch as well. We can
I
do
was
both.
I was playing with
Yeah, let's
Gabi,
do it.
ZSX. I played with you guys as well, so it's
There's
Okay,
there-
yes,
there's so many people. So what I'm probably doing as well is I'm doing a bit more playing and streaming when there aren't cups going on.
Which is terrible at playing.
Hey, you're gonna be so pissed off that you haven't recruited me to your team.
I would, but you don't have time to play.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
I would have taken it to everything, but you don't have time to play.
No,
Zoot
I would be the most
recruiting you.
I'd be the most annoying teammate in the world who would be like, I can't come to practice tonight. I've
Yeah.
just absolutely effed for time.
It's like me and ZSX, we're playing like 8 hours a day. We're starting at like 2 p.m. and just playing until midnight. And you're at work.
There's some guy that has over 300 and something hours played, and I'm thinking it's only been out for like what 2 and a bit weeks.
Maybe
So
like
basically, all
the
he's
highest
done
level
since
that
the
counts.
release, is sleep and play Overwatch. This guy,
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
the highest level accounts, like the 5 top level accounts, are shared by like 3 people.
Maybe that's why.
Christ. Oh right, okay, that makes sense actually. Otherwise, I think they need to see a doctor.
Yeah.
Like seriously. So I don't know. You guys, are you both getting involved at all in Quake, Overwatch? This is happening in the future. I know FNX, you've been mightily
Yeah.
loyal to Z Live Quake.
Yeah, I'd still like to cast the Sunday Cups. It's good fun, you know.
It's
Whenever
okay,
I can.
we can make another channel for you guys.
Yeah, and but I wouldn't mind casting some Overwatch as well. I've been learning the game, learning a bit about the meta of the game. Spectating Overwatch is a little bit difficult with all the characters and the weird spectator mode.
Sure.
So I don't know how that's going to work really, but yeah.
I didn't
we'll see
think
what
there'd be
happens.
a game that had a worse spectator mode than Quake Live, but we've definitely found one. But that's surely going to change. So yeah, I hopefully we can see a. I know that the channel has been active, and Spuld, bless his heart, has been doing tons of casting and streaming, and he's been incredibly supportive. But I think we're going to try and bump it up a notch, see if we can get more people casting, more people streaming on the channel, and just
what?
more content as well. But be ready for Overwatch content. That's what I'm saying. So yeah. That's going
Embrace
to be
the Overwatch.
Exactly. I know Overwatch is probably one of the only games you can get away with streaming here. I know you can have 1,000 people watching a Quake Live duel final, and then as soon as you turn on CS, disperse. You'll have negative viewership. Like
NXX, we've only been talking about Overwatch for like 2 minutes.
yeah, we've talked about Quake
2
Champions for 59 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
For a 2 minutes video, so.
Yeah.
And hi NSX, I haven't seen you for a long
Hey,
time.
what's up?
So I think that he's angry.
Yeah.
Wants Spuld to cast Quake on Spuld only. Do it, Spuld. Do it. Yeah, to be honest, I've given up on the fact that I can stream CS on this channel. I'd only do it if I was taking it seriously with casting, and I'm not. Pity I've put all those 1,500 hours of CS to waste. Whoops. But yeah, to be honest, I don't want to linger too much longer with the stream. I feel like we've said a lot of things. Because I feel like the last couple of days, and more so than the last couple of weeks, I've been itching. I feel like got to a time where I've been enjoying the work-life balance a lot, where I've been able to come home and do what I like, spend time with friends and girlfriend, and even do physical exercise and things like that. Now I feel like it's back. I can jump on a project, and I think this Quake Champions has re-energized me. More so even than I was slightly motivated by Overwatch being released, but this is honestly 100% more than that with Quake Champions. Yeah, any other final words, chaps? Otherwise I'm going to do a professional outro.
Yeah, I think we touched on some good points. Some interesting things were said. Are you going to put this VOD up on YouTube? I know some guys would want to catch it. See if you can.
Do. I
Yeah.
think we've got I've done non-copyright music, so should be possible.
Yeah, put it up there. Yeah, but thanks for having me on. Good, good talk. I'm excited. I'm gonna wait for Quake on. I'm really excited. New Quake, who can't be excited?
Further QuakeCon questions is a good point, but I guess we'll embrace that soon. That's about a month and a half or so away. Ents, your final words. I know you've concluded Quake Champions already, but anything extra?
I don't know. I'm just not sure what to expect right now. I'm trying to be not too excited, but also what's the opposite of excited? I'm trying to be in the
Disappointed,
middle ground.
depressed.
Yeah.
Depressed.
Both disappointed and depressed. I'm trying not to be in either extreme.
Trying to just to keep that steady medium. You've got the overexcited, morbidly depressed. You want to stay like central and not be too, balance yourself. And I'm
You
actually
can
trying
be
to keep my feet
excited
on the
and
floor.
hyped because it's a new Quake, and even the worst Quake ever, it's better than any other game out there. Fact.
Yeah.
So you can be
Quake.
excited that it's a new Quake, but it can still go a lot of ways, So
Yeah,
you have to wait.
I'm trying not. Honestly, I'm on the excited side at the moment, and I'm trying to keep myself down, even though there's lots of stuff that we as Quake aren't used to with these class-based things. I'm not willing to object to the possibility of it being good. So, anyway,
Yeah, we're actually being like really liberal about the class things, considering how hardcore Quake fans we are.
yeah. And so talking about Doom 4, I don't think a lot of us put the idea in the bin very quickly that Doom was going to be a big multiplayer game.
Yeah, it was never.
It was meant to be
or anything. Yeah.
that was all about the single player with minimal multiplayer in. I don't think we expected an esports to establish itself from that.
You know what I got really good at in Doom multiplayer? So what I'd do is I'd abuse the personal teleporter, and I got so good at that I'd teleport behind people, and I'd just have double shotguns as loadouts, and I was absolutely wrecking with that. But yeah, it got too easy in the end, and I was like, that was kind of boring. Playing Overwatch. That's
Too easy. We
Yeah.
should take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We are going to take Overwatch and Quake to the next level. So, guys, I'm going to go to my professional